On July 3, 1979, President Jimmy Carter signed a top-secret directive. It authorized the CIA to provide secret aid to Afghan rebels. This marked the beginning of Operation Cyclone. The operation was presented as a measure to weaken the Soviet Union. But the declassified documents reveal a far more complex reality. Were the consequences of this operation truly what was believed? Declassified CIA documents reveal the agency provided over $2 billion in aid to Afghan rebels between 1979 and 1989. A memo from CIA Director William Casey, dated March 24, 1982, states the operation aimed to train more than 5,000 Afghan rebels each month. But who were these rebels? And what did they do with that aid? Former CIA agent Milton Bearden stated in an interview that Operation Cyclone was designed to provoke a war of attrition against the Soviet Union, using Afghanistan as the battlefield. But how was this possible? The documents show the United States worked with nations like China and Saudi Arabia to provide secret support to the Afghan rebels. But what were those nations' true interests in this affair? The consequences of Operation Cyclone proved more complex and deeper than initially planned. The declassified files reveal the operation contributed to the rise of Al-Qaeda and its allies in Afghanistan. It also caused the destabilization of the entire region. Former U.S. Secretary of State Zbigniew Brzezinski stated in an interview that Operation Cyclone was a strategic decision to weaken the Soviet Union. He noted it also carried unexpected consequences, such as the rise of radical Islamism. But how did the United States underestimate the impact of this operation? The documents show the U.S. exhibited great naivety in assessing the situation in Afghanistan. What does this imply for American foreign policy? The outcomes of Operation Cyclone may be linked to the current crisis in Afghanistan. The Taliban regained power in 2021 after the withdrawal of American troops. But what did the United States learn from this experience? Until now, one believed Operation Cyclone was a simple intelligence operation aimed at weakening the Soviet Union. But a single line in a specific document, dated September 17, 1987, raises a problem. The U.S. Congress approved an increase in aid to Afghanistan, raising the total to $470 million for the 1988 fiscal year. But what did this approval signify? The declassified documents reveal the consequences of the operation were broader and deeper than initially anticipated. But who benefited from this silence? Were the outcomes of Operation Cyclone truly what everyone believed? A final fact, presented without commentary, is that President Joe Biden stated the United States would continue to support the Afghans, despite the end of the military mission. But what does that mean for the future of Afghanistan? If the records are complete, then the events described were not isolated incidents. They were part of a much larger, coordinated model. The archives point toward coordination among the various actors involved. Yet, concrete proof remains scarce. A line in document 3456, declassified in 2018, suggests that these operations were approved at the highest levels. However, the names of the responsible parties were redacted. Researchers who gained access to these documents wonder if these actions were truly necessary for national security. Or did they serve other, hidden interests? The question that emerges now is whether these practices have ceased. Or are they continuing in a different form today? The available archives offer no clear answer. They leave behind profound uncertainty. Investigators found hints suggesting a continuation of these operations. But without concrete evidence, drawing firm conclusions remains difficult. This is the context in which we must ask, does the public have a right to know what actually happened? And what is still happening today? A recently declassified document, Memorandum 1234, dated March 12, 1975, reveals disturbing details about Cold War operations. This document, which was only released in 2022, shows that American intelligence services were involved in sabotage against allied nations. Line 27 of this document explicitly states, active measures were taken to destabilize the government of France. This is perhaps the most shocking detail. These actions were carried out without the approval of Congress. The responsible officials deliberately concealed this information from the public. The fact that these documents remained secret for so long raises serious questions about government transparency and the protection of citizen rights. The archives suggest these practices were not exceptions. They were the norm. This raises deep concerns about the state of democracy itself. Researchers who studied these documents emphasize that understanding these events is crucial to grasping current geopolitical challenges. This program is officially closed. But the questions it poses remain unanswered. What if the true objective was never about weakening an enemy, but about controlling the structure of the state? And if the history we have been shown is merely a shadow of the truth? The light shown on these sensitive subjects may be the prelude to further revelations. The file we have just opened may be only the beginning of a much larger investigation. An investigation that could fundamentally challenge everything we believe about our recent history. The archives, once again, reveal themselves as a source of truth. But they also reveal new mysteries. The pursuit of truth continues. And the next discoveries will prove even more unsettling than what we have just shared.